Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. We're live. Patch 3.0 is here. Let's go. Let's have a look round. And then we're going to do some stuff in the Doom Tower straight away. I cannot wait. I've been waiting for this day for literally years. It's literally been years. The Doom Tower has sat in dungeons over here. Weirdly, it's still there. I thought they would have taken it out. It's still there. Maybe it's going to become. Maybe the Void Tower is still going to be a thing. Who knows? But Doom Tower is now live on here. We're going to get to that in a minute. Let's have a look around. So, new fragment summons. We've got Urost the Soul Cage, Domlock Skyhide, Archmage Helmet, Ryan the Conjurer. I think that name might have changed. Akoff the Seared. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Oh, here you go. Thea the Tomb Angel as well. So 6. 6 new fragment summons. They're going to be the champions all from the secret rooms. This guy looks absolutely sweet. Let's check him out in the index as well. Okay, first one then. We'll do the epics first. The Dark Elf, the Conjurer, Ryan the Conjurer. So yeah, they called it Elemental Conjurer before. Oh yes. This one looks really cool. I really love these weapons. Look at that. Look at that. That looks awesome. This champion looks awesome. So block buffs on an A1. Chance of removing buffs from all enemies on an A2 and throwing out a weaken. A bit like a Madame type ability, but weaken instead of decreased defense and attack. 3-turn cooldown. This is really good. And then she's also got this one. Revives an ally with 50% HP and a turn meter and puts block debuffs on them for 2 turns. We'll also revive the other new epic, which we'll get to in a second, and the new legendary with 30% HP if they're on the same team and not the target of the revive. So potentially she can revive 3 people at the same time. If they're the revive of if they're the target of the skill, then they get more turn meter and block debuffs on them as well. 4-turn cooldown. That's a cool skill as well. So good base stats. Ryan the Conjurer, I think, is going to be actually a really good epic. Don't forget, all epics will be coming from the Doom Tower normal. All legendaries are going to be coming from the Doom Tower hard. And it's going to take some time to get them. We're talking like a few months to get each one. If you guys are not aware, on my website now, we've actually got a Doom Tower section. So all of these kind of champions, all we know about the different rooms and stuff. This is in like Towers and Fragments section. There's an overview of Doom Tower to kind of general info. There's a bit around Doom Tower bosses, a bit around the secret rooms. So if you want all things information for Doom Tower, come to hellhades.com and then click in the Doom Tower section. But yeah, loads going on. So let's get back into this. So first one looked at. Let's look at the next one, who is Archmage Helmet, who is a Bannerlord. Bannerlord. Main thing I'm looking at here is, do they look super sweet? Because we've kind of seen a lot of the abilities already. But this guy, I know, has got crazy multipliers. So I'm actually really keen to see what he does. Support-based champion. Look at this again. They do such a good job on the visuals, guys. Such a good job. Yes, he looks awesome. Turn meter fill here. I'll do it quickly. Stun ability on his A2. Also attacks all enemies if the first attack's a crit. Each hit, 50% chance. You build that up to, 75 of placing a stun. That's huge. Decreases turn meters of every enemy without a stun. Huge as well. Really great A2 this. And then he's got a kind of crazy buff. Speed, crit rate, and crit damage on his A3. 3-turn cooldown. Very cool as well. What's this here? Speed in arena, 17%. And immune to turn meter decreasing effects. Very high base speed, great base stats. I think that's the first one we've seen like this. Immune to turn meter decrease. Very cool. Very cool. I really like him. Fantastic epic, I'd say. Fantastic epic, that one. And then the last of the epics is Demon Spawn in the end. Demon Spawn. They changed him up. And this is Akoff the Seared. Look at that. Look at that. Basically, it reminds me of an Inferno from World of Warcraft, actually. Very cool. What we got? Decreased crit rates on an A1. Decreased 30% crit rate. That's kind of interesting. HP burn on an A2. 20% chance of placing HP burn for 2 turns. The chance of the debuff increases by 20% for each alive enemy. So if you're facing a full team, it's 100%. Facing the spider, it's 100%. Very cool. Attacks all enemies. 50% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all skills by 2 turns on enemies under HP burn. Wow, that's cool as well. Also places a shield equal to 20% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. So this guy is going to be awesome for the Doom Tower, for the shield boss. We'll go into bosses and stuff in a different video. But instantly activates this skill when this champion is revived by Rion the Conjurer. This is awesome. Really like that. Good synergy as well. 10% chance of placing a fear for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from HP burn debuff placed on themselves. Does he place it on himself? Has a 10% chance of placing a fear on one enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from an HP burn. Oh, I see. Placed on from the language is kind of weird here, but yeah, basically you've got a chance of fearing someone that takes damage from your HP burn, which is cool. So good base stats. Another wicked looking epic. I think the epics are all strong. They're not like changing the game, but for those that are fighting normal Doom Tower, there's a good chance those epics are going to come in and do some work. So we've got Urost as the next one. I honestly cannot get it into my head why they've added this one to Undead. Like, could they not have just found a way to put him somewhere else? Look how many Undeads we got. Wow, we got more Undead legendaries than epics. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Void legendary. Urost the Soul Cage. Places a shield on this champion equal to 10% of his max HP on an A1. The shield's value increases for each poison debuff on the target. So you can get up to another 10% from that, but probably more like 4 or 5 normally. Attacks all enemies on his A2. 100% chance of decrease in turn meter on enemies for 1 or more poisons. Also, 100% chance of decreased speed for 2 turns if 2 or more poisons. And 100% chance of a stun if they got 3 or more poisons. This ability is awesome. Awesome ability here. Definitely an awesome ability if you can crank out some poisons. Imagine him with a Tomb Lord or with a Taurus or with a Richthof. But he's also got poisons himself, which we'll see in a minute. Strengthen as well, and Ally Protect on is A3, which is 2 huge buffs. And then we've got here, when attacked, 50% chance of placing a poison. Whenever an ally is attacked, under Strengthen, has a 50% chance of placing Provoke on the attacker. Increases his champion's max HP by 5% whenever an enemy receives damage from poison. That is disgusting. Huge base HP as well. Whenever an enemy receives damage from poison, increases his champion's max HP by 5% whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison debuff placed by this champion. That's pretty cool. Whenever an enemy receives damage from poison placed by this champion, also decreases their max HP. So this is cool for... this actually doesn't decrease boss's max HP. I was going to say it's cool for a boss that's coming, but actually it's not going to work there. But anyway, you can get another 25% worth of gain from this. Generally like a cool passive. This guy is going to be a beast. Good base stats. Looking forward to seeing him, albeit that's going to be a while down the road. Next one up is an Orc. See what this one looks like. So Gomlock, Skyhide. If I'm honest, compared to the others, I think she looks terrible. Compared to the others. I'm not... Is it a she even? It's a he, I think. It's a he. Gomlock, he. By the initial image, I thought it was a female, but it's clearly not. Okay, whatever. So got a leech ability on an A1. We've got a chance to steal buffs on an A2, single target. At 60% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 50%. Steals turn meter if they're full health. And then an AoE double hitter. 100% chance of placing decreased defense. Nice. Second hit, 100% chance of placing weaken if they're full HP. The first hit on each target also got 100% chance of decreasing turn meter. This ability is wicked as well. 4-turn cooldown, drop turn meter, drop defense, weaken. What an ability that is. What an ability this is. Love it for the arena. Passive as well then. Whenever 4 or more buffs are placed on an enemy team in a single turn, places a shield buff on this champion equal to 15% of his max HP. He's got a lot of HP as well. All of his attacks are based on attack. Good amount of attack, good speed, good champion. Yeah, looks good. Looks good in terms of stats. I don't personally love his actual aesthetic. And the last one then, Night Revenant. Thea. I can't wait to test this one out, but this is going to be months away, unfortunately. Thea, the Tomb Angel. Looks pretty cool as well. Very different, like it. Bit like Clockwork Orange stuff going on. So what we got here, Hex on an A1. There's I need to get some info on Hex actually, just to make sure I know exactly what it does. Attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 50% for each Hex debuff on the enemy team. Stacks up to 300%. So if you can get multiple hexes out before you do this ability, I think it's going to hit for silly numbers. But she's the only one who can do it. So I've been talking to a few different people in streams and stuff like that, and actually what we've been talking about is maybe having ally attack champions with Thea. So you go ally attack into ally attack. So you've already got an ally attack thrown out 1 hex, an ally attack thrown out a 2nd hex. Then you blow up the hexes, which could be fun. Could be fun to do. I'd love to see what sort of damage we can do with this. She's also got places Perfect Veil for 3 turns and then gets an extra turn. So I guess there is something in her kit to enable her to be hidden to get those hexes out before she blows them up. We've got passive here as well. 50% chance of placing True Fear debuff on all enemies as a passive for 1 turn when an enemy loses 30% or more of their max HP in a single hit. It's an interesting passive. I'm wondering who could do that. I guess you've got to have someone like an Ethos or you've got to have one of the big hitters to be able to do that. To be able to lose 30% max HP in 1 hit. But still, cool champion. Can't wait to see her in action in a few months' time. So, champion's done. Let's have another kind of squiz round. What else are we going to see? I think it's literally, we already know about the Forge, where we get this stuff. Let's dive into the Doom Tower and just have a look at what's going on. The Doom Tower, monthly challenge built to test your strength and strategy. The tower holds 2 difficulties, and you must battle your way through 120 floors and fight 12 mighty bosses. Let's do it. You need gold keys to enter a floor. We knew that already. And start a battle. When you're ready, dive in and get started. So you can see each level's got their own reward. On my site, by the end of today, there will be a breakdown of every single floor, who you're fighting. There's a developer called Wistix who kind of pulls a lot of data from the game. He's done like a whole 120 floor breakdown on normal and hard, looking at affinities, looking at their accuracy levels, their resistance levels, their speed levels. All of that will be on hellhades.com by the end of today. So really cool bit of resource if you want to plan ahead. Okay, so yeah, secret room requires silver keys. Every other floor requires gold keys. You get 10 of each at the start. My recommendation is you don't do any silver rooms until you're higher in the tower. Come back in a week, then start doing silver rooms because you will gain additional silver keys here. It's very hard to explain, but trust me, don't do the secret rooms until you are higher in the tower because you're going to want those silver keys to fight bosses that drop stuff that is not blue crap. You want to get the epic and the legendary stuff. My other piece of advice is fight the Doom Tower for the first day where you can get to a boss. So if you don't think you can get to hard level 1 boss, can I flick it? Why can't I change it? Oh, it's telling me I've got to go in here. I don't want to fight normal, please. I want to fight hard. Okay, looks like you've got to do that before you can go into hard. I'm going to be fighting hard because obviously I've got an account which I feel like I can get at least to the first boss. But depending on your account, do the work yourself. I'll show you a quick kind of guide as to what the different levels will look like. So on normal, the first levels, wave 1, they're going to be level 120 champions. Level 120. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. And for the rest of the day, up until the first boss, you're facing level 150 roughly. So between 120 and 150 is the level count for normal. And then on hard, this is the document that Wistix created, by the way, guys. On hard, as I say, this is going to be on the site by the end of today. Doom Tower, hard. Here we go. Floor 1 on hard, 250, level 250. For basically up to 260s. Yeah, up to 260. So 120 to 160 for normal, 250s for hard. And if we just kind of have a gauge in Faction Wars, where does that look like in Faction Wars? You're talking like stage 12 mobs, level 120. So if you can't beat stage 12, you want to do normal. That's it. You won't be able to beat hard. Up to stage 15, 160. So you're kind of talking for normal, floors 1 to 10 is the equivalent of Faction Wars stages 12 to 15. For hard, rooms 1 to 10, you're talking like already level 20 mobs, 20 to 21 mobs. These mobs are hard straight away, like really hard. So I would say if you are not well progressed in Faction Wars, forget hard for now. Forget it. So we're going to go in. We're going to go in and start fighting some of these mobs. So what are we up against then? Jotuns, Bombardes, are they? Yeah. Let's get in there. I'm just going to throw in my, probably like my strongest team that I feel is going to be strong for general dungeon clearing. Who should I use? I think Draco. We're going big. We're going big. Go big or go home to start with. Ethos as a wave clearer. Probably my hardest hitting wave clearer. We could do someone like Sir Nick for shielding and damage. I could bring in some... So I'm going to need some sort of crowd control. So I guess someone like Gergo is brilliant for crowd control. The difference here between Faction Wars and Doom Tower is you're selecting like your top tier. Your top tier across the board, right? Whereas on Faction Wars, you have to choose between different options. You can't just come in top tier. I want an all battles aura. Dungeons will not work here. It needs to be all battles or Doom Tower. There's only one champion with Doom Tower even in the game right now. So maybe an all battles aura here, or I could go Lysandra and actually just lock them out. Maybe that's a better option. Lock out their abilities. Drop defense. Freeze. Nuke. Nuke. Let's try it. Let's try it. First time in. First time in on hard. I'm going to try auto just to kind of see how it works. Freeze. Roll in with some damage. My turn order's a little bit out actually. I kind of want my Draco to be faster than the rest. So we're slamming this wave down pretty comfortably. On to wave 2. And I would hope so. I would hope that I can deal with the start of Doom Tower on hard, given the gear I've got, given the kind of prep I've got. Otherwise, we are struggling when we get higher. But you can see already, Jotun's waiting to hit me one. They're not going to get a chance. We're going to slam them. Probably if I was doing this on manual, I would have held that freeze, because I want the freeze for the next wave. But we're on to wave 3 already. I've already seen on Discord there's some problems at the end, so we'll see if that works when we get there. Oh, we take a hit. I'm going to lose someone. Not quite. I did. I dropped someone. It's embarrassing. Again, if I'd done that on manual, I'd have held his freeze. We would have done it 3-star. I don't know if there's star ratings or not. I don't think it even matters. Doesn't. Just a victory or not. So we're through wave 1. We got a reward, and we move on. Use the gold key up. So I guess I can kind of mess around really with whatever I want. I can throw in a Lydia here. Felt like she was strong, he was strong. Do I need this, or should I just go more damage? Plus, I got built for some damage. Or it could go like this. Let's try this. So we lose our freeze. Maybe that's a mistake, really. But see the difference there. So I got the decreased defense and weaken out early, which means bam, bam, bam. I slam them down so damn quick. We bring in the big hits. Bad Elf's well geared because he's in my clan boss team. They've all got the revive though. Bad Elf's the weak affinity here, so he's kind of soaking up damage for me. We had a block revive. If we nuked them all down there, we would have blocked all their revives. Yeah, so you see what Gergo's done in the first wave. I don't have it. I don't have enough control in this setup, which is, I'll do it, but it's much slower because I don't have that freeze. I'm letting them have way too many turns. And now I'm relying on my ethos to kind of come back in with the damage. So definitely having someone like a Gergo or some sort of control champ, Nephril, Gergo, anyone that's going to hold back their progress is going to be helpful. Even champions like Nullhorns, anyone that's got those kind of AoE provokes, Umbral, Nullhorn, anyone that can kind of just control the waves for you is going to be strong. And when you get further on, when you start to worry about the resistance of your enemy, you can start to bring in people in stuff like stun sets, because resistance doesn't matter against sets. Let's go back into this. I could even... Yeah, no, I think this is good. Big freeze, and then obviously rolls in, does a ton of damage. And this is just way more comfortable. We're not going to have the freeze straight away in the next round. Luckily, he gets another attack off here, so he's going to get his cycle back to it pretty quick. So far, so good. Actually, relatively stable as well. Well, it's very stable for me right now. So I don't know what your experience is. I've seen a couple of messages with people saying they struggled with some of the rewards early on. So far, for new patch mode, thumbs up, Plarium. I'm enjoying it. We're doing well. People said to me, are you going to stream this? And I was like, well, trouble with streaming it is, if it's literally like crazy amount of downtime of maintenance, then you're just sitting there wishing for a good amount of time. So this should be job done. It's got the reflect damage on us though. Oh, we're going to lose someone again. That reflect damage is nasty. But it's all good. Through this one as well. Get ourselves a few bits for crafting materials. Quite a tanky team here. So I guess I can show you maybe just a kind of weaker style team. Let me just pick one out. Okay, so let's try Epics then. So we've got Sandlash, who's in my clan boss team. So she's well geared with like high defense. Really high defense. She's really well geared. We've got Umbral, who's in my faction war team. So she's got the provokes, turn meter control, drop defense. So this will be much slower. But the idea with this style of team is, like, who thinks they're going to get a proper turn against me? I'm decreasing turn meter, I'm decreasing speed, I'm decreasing their offensive stats, and my Umbral is provoking people that do actually get a turn. So basically, it's a bit of a... Obviously, it's not like a full legendary setup, but the idea here is, maybe I don't even need the Umbral, because, frankly, they're not... Oh, they are. They're just about getting a turn. But you can see... With this style team, I've got stun set on my Sylar, so she is stunning some people up. I've got two people doing like massive turn meter reduction, and then we've got provokes and stuff going out there as well. So we should get onto wave 2 with our abilities back. AoE in again. And again, just kind of turn meter running. And this is a really good tactic to get yourself through waves. Multiple people that are just wrecking turn meter that are either positive affinity or neutral affinity to what you're fighting. And really, as long as you've got people running fast enough and they've got high enough accuracy, you should find it pretty comfortable. Stun set on the Sylar there. So the resistance that these guys have got means nothing. Stun set either procs or it doesn't. Just procced on both of them here. So, you know, similar to what we've seen in faction war videos, this is the type of way that you can get through different waves with weaker teams. Got here, faceless, show your face. Provokes are out, turn meters dropped. I can't see. Oh, quad stun out of a stun set. That's almost unheard of. And at this stage, they are done for. There is literally nothing they can do. So many debuffs on them. Faceless, get off the map. You've got no place here. And even then, it's still like a 1 minute 50. So if we're going for speed times, you know, and that's kind of where we're going to get to eventually, then obviously this is not helping me out. But in terms of showing you guys ways to get through this stuff, hopefully this kind of gives you a better feel for what you could do. And obviously any of these guys can be replaced by rares, other epics. These don't matter. The kind of strategy is what's mattering here. So let's go back into big boy teams. We're going to whiz our way through to the boss, and then I'll show you some more stuff on the boss. Okay, we're slaying this stuff pretty quick. I love actually the fact that we're bringing in like our best teams. I love that best teams are coming out, and it's like, yes, seeing some of these boys together really makes me happy. So we're on to the boss fight then. First boss. You'll face a mini boss for the first time. You need a gold key. We've got one, don't worry. But once you've beaten the boss, you'll be able to farm the floor for forged materials with silver keys. Yeah. So things to be aware of then for the Magma Dragon. Always going to be magic affinity, right the way up. Doesn't change. We've got some kind of breakdown on different bosses here on the website. This has basically come from my stream yesterday. We were talking about this a ton. Different recommendations for sets, ways to fight, that type of thing. We think he can just be locked down with turn meter. So someone like Allure could be huge here just to kind of get his turn meter down. We think he could be provoked. Someone like Rockbreaker could be really good because he places this Hex debuff. The Hex is going to come onto someone with the lowest HP, and then he's going to nuke that person. So if you can make Rockbreaker your lowest HP person, Rockbreaker's got a passive where he takes half damage on kind of 50% of the time. He is the wrong affinity here, though, so you need to bear that in mind. We're thinking something like a Skull Sworn Skull Lord combo could be very cool. Morley, good for provoking a revive and an ally protection. Champs can kind of come in and help the hexed person as well. So bunch of different kind of things to think about. You can block debuffs on his burn. Doom Priest to kind of cleanse off fire if you need to. But yeah, read it in full if you want to kind of get a full breakdown. I'm going to see for this first go, Lysandra again. Lysandra's actually weak affinity here, so that's not going to be that good. My strong affinity turn meter reduces are going to be people like Shatterbones. Obviously, we can bring in a Cold Heart. So my idea here is I just keep his turn meter down and don't ever let him have a turn. If I can keep his turn meter down, not let him have a go, I might just be able to kill him pretty damn fast. But if that's not doable, then we might need to bring in, you know, people that can actually do the protection side of things. And I think the further we get on, the more likely you're going to need to do that. So drop defense and weaken, couple of turn meter slammers, more turn meter control here, and I think I might even bring in a Royal Guard as well. Just go like triple slam him. Do I have enough to get through the waves is the other question. So killing the boss is one thing, killing the waves is another, and I don't have a lot to deal with the waves. So I might struggle on the waves, we'll see. I think for the first stage it'll probably be okay, but when we get further on, because the waves are actually much lower level, look at this. The waves are a much lower level. I'll be able to clear the waves actually pretty easily. In fact, I don't want to use all my big abilities. They've made the waves way easier getting to the boss, even though they're like 5 Dracos, doesn't matter, they're weak source Dracos. So they're more like we will be facing on normal tower. So I do want to just AoE a couple of times, make sure that I don't end up taking it on the chin. So we'll take those down. Should be nearly done. Can go with that kind of multi-hitter there from the Royal Guard. Okay, hopefully I've still got my decreased defense and weaken. One turn off. That's a bit annoying. It's a bit annoying. So I think we're going to go in A3 first. We're going to try and drop his, increase my speed and decrease his. Debuff blocked, is that a passive? Can we not put decreased speed on him? Maybe I looked at it wrong. I'm going to drop it, the turn meter straight away. Big old hit. We didn't drop any turn meter there. Which makes me wonder if we can. Hold on a minute. Is he immune to turn meter stuff? Doesn't say that he is, does it? Immune to HP exchange effects, HP balancing, and cooldown increasing effects. It does not say here, unless I'm going insane, that he is immune to turn meter control. But it looks like he is. It looks like he is. Comment below. Have I got it wrong? So we're not going to Raw Dart Slam in here. We're going to wait until we get decreased defense and weaken out there. Hex, big hit on the Hex. We've got an HP burn on us, which I need to be careful about. I am... I think I still do this because it's the early level one. But obviously my strategy around Allure and stuff like that is completely out. Because it looks like you cannot drop his turn meter. Let's slow this down. This is meant to drop his turn meter 3 times here. And with positive affinity. No turn meter control. 100% you cannot drop his turn meter. It's not happening, guys. So bear that in mind when you're planning your fight. I'll get one more turn for my... taking hits. Got one more turn on my Heartseeker. We're going to kill him anyway. But yeah. Bear that in mind when you're building your teams. You cannot drop this guy's turn meter. It's not happening. So your Cold Hearts, forget it. But there you go. First Magma Dragon down. On hard, relatively comfortable because the waves are so easy. But it looks like you can't drop his turn meter, so you either go all out nuke on the fella, or you need to bring in protection like block debuffs, like cleanse. No, not cleanse. If you cleanse off the Hex, the person who cleansed it gets the Hex. Not cleanse, sustain, like heal sustaining abilities and protection abilities like Ally Protect, but not Cleanse. So we're going to just rerun it now with perhaps a lower grade team that might be a bit more suitable if you are not running the sort of teams that I am. So someone like Rockbreaker, as I said earlier, to tank for us. Rockbreaker to be our shield at the front. I could even bring in, you'd have to have Rockbreaker as your lowest HP. I've got him quite high HP, but that's because he's my tank for dwarves. So I could actually potentially just bring in my dwarf faction war team here and show you what they do. It's almost the same setup for what I need them to do in faction wars. So Grizzled with Ally Protect and increased defense. Where are you? Grizzled. Gala for damage. The setup is almost the same kind of thinking. And then we have a Veer for kind of shielding and support and healing. So this is my Dwarf Faction War team. Everyone's got higher health than Rockbreaker. So Rockbreaker becomes the target. He's probably going to be the target anyway because of his affinity. But hopefully this will kind of give you a feel for the type of team you could build. Albeit you wouldn't do it all with dwarves, obviously. You just pick teams that you want. But you choose who's going to have the lowest health. So for me, in this setup, it's Rockbreaker because I want him to tank because he's got a chance with that passive of being able to tank the Hex really well. And then the rest of the guys slowly but surely kill the boss. I get healing from Rearguard Sergeant for the boss part of the fight. I get healing from Avir and some turn meter stuff. And I get protection from Rearguard and Grizzled. So the idea is kind of like more like a slow and steady. We take on the boss, but we kind of minimize the chance of us going down. So we get through to the boss. Obviously, it's much slower because I don't have a lot of damage here. Apart from Gala. She loves slapping people around. On we go then, onto the boss. It's interesting that it says nowhere in his skill set, though. So he can be provoked. See that? He's got the provoke off. So if he's provoked, he can't hex us anyway. His hex is on an A3 ability. If you keep him provoked for the whole fight, then you're laughing anyway. You won't get any hexes. But as soon as you allow the hex to come off, you want to decide where it's going to go. So you can see here with this kind of strat, hex is gonna, it's actually done on my Gala, interestingly. Okay, maybe I've changed the setup of my Gala. That's weird. We'll check it afterwards. We'll check that afterwards. But we've got the provoke off again, so we can't at least blow up the hex because I'm provoking it away from Gala. Gala's using her abilities anyway, so she's actually going to outrun the hex, I think, before he gets a chance to do anything with it. And again, for the first boss, it's relatively comfortable level for me. But I think for a lot of people, hard boss in the first stage is still going to be kind of tough. You know, unless you're pretty well developed on your accounts. So yeah, so he's put it randomly on different people here. So where he says he's going to place it on the person with the lowest HP, cannot be resisted or blocked. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird because they all seem to be full health. Maybe my rear guard was not full health then. Not sure. She wasn't. That would make some sense. She gets chomped. So at this stage, it's kind of comfortable. But obviously, the further you get on, it's going to be much, much harder. So guys, I guess comment below. Let me know the teams that you're building for this stuff. I'm really keen to know what your thoughts are for building teams to get through this stuff when you get to a higher level. I am totally psyched for the patch. Good job. It looks really cool. It's playing pretty nice. I know there's been a bit buggy, but it's playing pretty nice so far. Good job. Let's stay with it, guys. I will show you my progress throughout the week, no doubt. I'll show you the different bosses and the type of teams that I'm running to try and kill them. And then as we get a bit further on, I'm going to be showing you some, as I get higher in the tower, I'm going to show you some cool team combos that are going to help you beat some of this stuff higher up. Anyway, guys, really fun so far. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.